Everybody, peace. Welcome to the GSMC College Football Podcast Show, brought to you by GSMC Sports Network. As you guys know, I'm your host, Casuan, and we've got an amazing show for you today, guys. Excuse me. We're going to be discussing a lot of news surrounding some of the top teams in the country, and we're also going to be discussing what I believe might be the worst coaching blunder I've seen in the past 15 years. And we're also going to be discussing some injury updates involving Colorado star Travis Hunter. So before we get into any of that, guys, if you haven't already, though, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, so you guys can stay up to date on all of our latest content that we post daily. And be sure to follow us on Patreon as well. You can do so by going to patreon.com, click on the search bar, and typing in GSMC Sports. That way you can get access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. And if you'd like to support our network and our company, you can do so by following the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network/tip. Once again, it's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network/tip. None of this is possible without you guys, are fans. We're so grateful and honored for all the support that you show us, and I'm just grateful to have this platform to talk with you guys about my thoughts and insight on the wonderful world of college football. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, as I said, we're going to start this show with talking about some injury updates to Colorado star Travis Hunter. As you guys know, Travis Hunter has missed the past 3 games due to a lacerated liver that he suffered against their victory against Colorado State about a month ago. Yeah. Obviously, Colorado head coach Deion Sanders stated that Travis Hunter has a tremendous chance to return on Friday against Stanford. Sanders said this on Tuesday. He said that Hunter is cleared to play and has been practicing, but he wants to ensure that Hunter is in game shape and won't be a liability for the Buffaloes. As you guys know, it's hard to you can't simulate game shape, and it takes a while to get your game wins, your game lungs under you. You don't really get that in practice. Really, the only way you get that is through playing an actual game, especially at this point in the season. And because he had to sit out, football's a little different. He had to physically sit out and not be able to play and not get used to that contact. It's a little harder to come back after missing that many weeks, that many games. And speaking of injury returns, Alton McCaskill, running back for Colorado. He's a Houston transfer who actually earned second-team All-American Conference honors in 2021. He's looking to return this Friday as well for Colorado. I know he missed the entire 2022 season due to an ACL injury. So looking to get him back to the fray and get into his rhythm back will be huge. But having Travis Hunter back will add another dimension to Colorado's offense. We saw they struggled against Arizona State, but the defense looked much better for Colorado, which is a plus. So them, continue making improvements and adding another dimension to their offense only makes them better, and it makes Shedeur Sanders better as well. yeah, I just wanted to share those injury updates with you guys. And let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Travis Hunter will end up playing, or do you think he'll sit out? Share your thoughts in the comment section. And in our next segment, guys, we're going to be discussing perhaps the most interesting coaching blunder of the past 15 years. So be sure to stick around for that, guys. You're not going to miss it. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. In case you missed the first segment of our show, we discussed some injury updates for Colorado and Travis Hunter, and hopefully he'll be able to play against Friday against Stanford. And according to reports, it looks like he will be playing. But listen, guys, I want to talk about this coaching blunder that took place over the weekend. And listen, if you're looking at the segment title, I know it says how to lose your job in college football, and I'll just, if you guys haven't seen it already, I'll just explain it. So, Miami was playing Georgia Tech over the weekend. They're up 17-20. Third down and 5 with, I want to say, about 40 seconds left in the game. 30 seconds left in the game. If I'm wrong about that, one of you guys correct me. So instead of, Georgia Tech doesn't have any timeouts left, by the way. So essentially, Miami can run out the clock and win the game. So instead of taking a knee, they hand off the ball. The running back, instead of just getting down on the ground, tries to gain more yardage, gets stripped, loses the ball. Georgia Tech recovers. Then Georgia Tech goes down the field because they strip and recover at like around Miami's 45-yard line, something like that. Mind you, Georgia Tech needs a touchdown to win, but they're down by 3 so they can tie it with field goal. But anyway, they're at Miami's 45-yard line now. 33 seconds left. Throws a pass, 33 for 20 yards. Boom. Okay, now if you're Miami, you just need to stop because they need to score, right? So Georgia Tech then ensues to score a game-winning touchdown pass with no time left on the clock. So huge blunder, huge loss for Miami. Not only did you not take a knee to close out the game, but then your defense allows 2 big plays for Georgia Tech to win. And I was watching it and I thought to myself, okay, this guy, there's no way this head coach is still gonna have a job come Monday. And you guys know how I am. I'm not an advocate for guys getting fired. I'll never use my platform to say this guy should lose his job or anything like that, because I know just like to not have a job, so I would never say that. But there's no way he could have told me that this guy was gonna have a job come Monday. But then I started doing my research. Turns out that this coach, I forgot the coach's name, but you guys remind me. Give me a reminder. But he did the same thing again when he was coaching at Oregon, and they played Stanford back in 2018. Same thing. He had a chance to just run out the clock, hands the ball off. Oregon loses the ball. Stanford goes down and scores, game winning touchdown, lose the game. So this is not the first time that this head coach has done this before. Which tells me there's something in his game plan, something doesn't really believe in taking a knee. But listen, I'm all for being innovative and being nuanced and a quagmire of sorts when it comes to your profession. But listen, sometimes you just gotta get the job done, man. You just gotta take the knee. But I digress. I just wanted to talk about that with you guys because I thought that'd be fun and pretty interesting to share as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about that. If you guys saw it, is that the worst coaching blunder you've ever seen? Will he have his job next? Because mind you, Miami's ranked number 17. So they have a very good chance of, winning the ACC, possibly making the college football playoff if it got to that point. But that's completely null and void now. But like I said, let me know what you guys think. Share your thoughts in the comment section. I thought that was pretty interesting. But in our next segment, guys, speaking of college football playoff, we're going to be discussing whether the Texas Longhorns still have a chance of making a college football playoff after their loss to Oklahoma. So be sure to stick around for that, guys. You're not going to miss it. Be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. In case you missed the first couple segments of our show, we just discussed injury updates for Travis Hunter in Colorado, as well as perhaps the worst coaching blunder I've seen in the past 15 years, and prime example of how a coach can lose their job in college football. I'm not advocating for him to lose his job, but would not be surprised if he did. We'll leave it at that. But in this segment, guys, like I said, we're going to be discussing whether Texas can still make the college football playoff. And obviously, they just suffered a loss against against Oklahoma this past weekend, and obviously that moves Oklahoma into the top spot for the Big 12, and if I'm not mistaken, Texas is now behind West Virginia for the second spot in the Big 12 Big 12 standings. So what does this mean for Texas? Listen, I was a proponent before that last game against Oklahoma that Texas had a great chance of making it into the college football playoff, even with one loss. I was assuming that loss would come, if it was to come, it would come in the Big 12 title game. But seeing now that this loss has come prior to the Big 12 Conference Championship game, not only does Texas need to win the conference championship, but they need help to even get to the conference championship, and now they'll need help from other teams as well. Because at first it was more so a matter of you win and you're in, you're winning in. So if Texas can win the Big 12 conference championship, then I believe they'll get into the college football playoff, barring any unforeseen circumstances in other conferences. However, it's a little bit of a dilemma because now Texas needs help to get to the conference championship game. Like I said, they're now ahead of Texas, so there is still a bit of a chance that Texas can make the college football playoff, but like I said, they're going to need assistance. They're going to need help from other teams. They no longer control their destiny outright, which is why there's a little bit of a quandary there. But I do believe they still have a legitimate chance. They just no longer control their destiny outright. And people say, well, why do you always say Alabama can still make the college football playoff? I say that because they still control their destiny outright. Listen, the SEC still has immense respect for the college football playoff. Playoff committee still has immense respect for the SEC. So if you win the SEC, you're guaranteed your spot in the college football playoff. And the reason Alabama controls their own destiny outright is because if they win the SEC West outright, so they play Mississippi State still, they still play LSU, they still play Auburn from the SEC West. Right? So they win those matchups, and then obviously they play Tennessee. So if they win all their games during the regular season, and then they beat, for all intents and purposes, like beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, if they're able to beat Georgia, then they will all have solidified their spot in the college football playoff. So that's why because it's divisional based, and in SEC, and also Alabama's loss came out of conference, so that loss doesn't hurt them as much as Texas lost to Oklahoma. And Alabama has a good loss against Texas, so that's why I say Alabama still controls their own destiny. They just have to win outright. But Texas doesn't, and obviously Texas has a good loss against Oklahoma as well. But the reason Texas doesn't control their destiny outright is because they had a conference loss. Now they need another team in their conference to lose in order to get back to that number 2 spot, in order to make it to the conference championship game. But I do believe Texas has a great chance of making the college football playoff. Absolutely, I do think that. I think they have a great chance, and I don't want to make a prediction right now and say they will, but I'll just say they have a good chance too. So they are still very much in the college football playoff race. They'll just need a little assistance to get there. But let me know what you guys think. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Share your thoughts in the chat room. I would love to hear all about it. But in our last segment, guys, we are going to be discussing Alabama's whether Alabama is starting to turn their season around, and what that means for them moving forward. So be sure to stick around for that, guys. You're not going to miss it. I'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. In case you missed the first segment of our show, we discussed the injury update for Travis Hunter in Colorado, as well as possibly the worst coaching blunder in the past 15 years. And we also discussed whether Texas still has a good chance of making the college football playoff. And in our last segment, guys, I'm just going to be discussing really quickly whether Alabama is starting to turn their season around. And, short answer, yes, they are starting to turn their season around. I say that because if you've been watching Alabama game by game, you will see that they have made gradual progressions within each game. And it's they have taken the necessary approaches to getting better, and they're not skipping any steps. And the process doesn't always look beautiful. It's not always pretty, right? So we have to understand that there are going to be growing pains. There are going to be moments where it's not going to look pretty and it's not going to be good, and it's going to look ugly sometimes. But you still have to go out and perform and go out there and win. and they're going out there and they're winning games, and you can see the improvements. And just even with Jalen Milroe and how he performs and how he's progressed, he is leaps and bounds better than how he looked against Texas, even against South Florida, and he's getting better game by game, and it's beautiful to watch, and I'm glad to see it because it's a testament to Nick Saban's coaching and trusting his teammates and or trusting his players and getting them to buy into the process. And listen, that defense is improving day by day, and it's not for real. And this defense is elite and starting to improve. The secondary, led by Juice McKinstry, is phenomenal, and it's incredible to watch. And they are improving, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win the SEC. But that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think about it. But alright, guys, that's it for our show for today. I know we had a quick show, but I actually have to do some coaching for basketball, so wearing many hats. I will be, but it was an amazing show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, guys, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, so you guys can stay updated on all of our latest content that we post daily. Be sure to follow us on Patreon as well. You can do so by going to patreon.com, click on the search bar and typing in GSMC Sports. That way you can get access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. And if you'd like to support our network and our company, you can do so by following the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network/tip. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out the other shows on GSMC Sports Network, the GSMC Baseball Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast, and GSMC NFL Podcast as well. All of our hosts provide great insight on the sports they're covering, and it's an honor and privilege to be working alongside some of the best in business when it comes to sports media. So with that being said, guys, we'll be back again same time tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will be a full show this time. So until then, continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions, and peace.